Hey yo, football fans, it's another great year. Fantasy football fiends, grab your beer. Giving you the best draft tips for all your picks. Starts and sits to the waiver wire fix. From my drafts galore to stats that's hardcore. Triple F does it all, have y'all screaming more. So sit back, relax, let the experts prevail. JT Magnum, SiggyGuns never fail.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Fantasy Football Fiends. I'm JT Magnum, and this is
SiggyGuns.
And this episode, we are going to do our top 20 tight ends. We're doing top 20 instead of 25 because not that many people pick that many tight ends. So, Siggy's going to start it off with his first five and hit it off, Siggy.
Yeah, really, your top five tight ends is all I ever care about. I try to go for these five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have Jimmy Graham 1, Rob Gronkowski 2, Tony Gonzalez 3, Jason Witten 4, Vernon Davis 5. Now, I'm going to talk about Gronkowski. Obviously, he's coming off of injury. He's had multiple surgeries on the offseason. He's probably not going to be ready week 1. Really don't know when he's actually going to be ready, so it's a risk to have him even listed at 2. But when he does come back, let's face it, with the questions around the Patriots offense, there's no doubt that when Gronkowski's there, Brady's going to be throwing him the ball, especially in the red zone. So I think it's still going to be worth picking him high. I could certainly understand if you pick somebody else ahead of him, but if he's there, it'll be hard to resist, and certainly you could pick some other guy in the bottom to fill in for a few weeks until Gronkowski gets back.
I hear you. Definitely. Gronkowski's a beast. But you really pretty much can't go wrong for the top like 5 or 6. After that, you're kind of just like it's just another player you're picking up.
Exactly.
Hoping that they do well. So for my top 5, I have Jimmy Graham, Jason Witten, Vernon Davis, Rob Gronkowski, and Jermichael Finley. And I'm going to talk about Vernon Davis because he's a 49er, of course. No, that's not why, but I think he's going to have a breakout year again. Like the year he had, I believe, in 2009. He's got Colin Kaepernick, from what I hear about. They finally got it together. They've been throwing to each other. They've been unstoppable in practice and unstoppable, like, in games. Like, you already see the chemistry flowing, and I think that he's going to have a crazy year. And I just think it's going to be a monster year with Kaepernick and him running slants and him lining up at receiver at times. I just see him as getting a lot of touches. I see him doing a lot of things, and I just think he's going to be a beast this year.
I agree. For my 6 through 10, I have Antonio Gates 6, Kyle Rudolph 7, Jermichael Finley 8, Greg Olsen 9, and Owen Daniels 10. And I want to talk about Antonio Gates. This is somebody that for years has always been a reliable tight end, and certainly, even though I still have him ranked pretty high, there's some cause for concern in regards to the San Diego offense. But one thing I do know is whenever there wasn't receivers back in the past, Antonio Gates was always the guy Phillip Rivers threw to. And now, with all the injuries that they have at the wide receiver position in San Diego, I think Antonio Gates should be the guy that would get you easily 70 yards a game, no matter what. And then on top of that, he'll probably get a touchdown here and there. So, very solid tight end for your fantasy squad, and I think he's going to have a good year.
Yeah, in his prime, he was uncoverable.
Nope.
And he had those, unfortunately, he had that, like, foot and toe injuries, and he was just all messed up for a while, but see how healthy he is. But for my 6 through 10, I have Tony Gonzalez, Kyle Rudolph, Greg Olsen, Jermaine Gresham, and Brendan Myers. And Greg Olsen is a player that I see really stepping it up this year. It's his, second, third year, second 2.5 years basically playing with Cam Newton. And I just think that he's going to be one of those guys. I mean, he's very fast. He's very strong, and he makes great catches over the middle. He's fearless, and I see his Cam Newton throwing the ball a lot more to him this year with, there's kind of like a wide open offense that they kind of run. So
Yep.
A lot of play action to him, given that they got, Jay Stewart and D'Angelo Williams. I see a lot of play action going to Olsen, and I just see him having a pretty good year this year. Pretty decent year, scoring-wise, too.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. My 10 through 15, I have Owen Daniels 10, Brandon Myers 11, Jared Cook 12, Martellus Bennett 13, Brandon Pettigrew 14, and Ed Dickson 15. And I'll go ahead and talk about Owen Daniels. This is a guy that's been in Houston for a while, and he used to be a fantasy stud back then. I think now that he's 100% from the injury that he had a few years ago for sure. Matt Schaub with question marks regarding Arian Foster. I think they're going to start using the Matt Schaub of old, which is throw the ball and keep throwing. And I think Owen Daniels would be the benefactor of that because I think Andre Johnson is going to be covered a lot. At least they should. The guy's the biggest receiver out there, and he catches everything. So I look for Daniels to get a bunch of receptions this year.
Yeah, I have my 11 through 15 is Martellus Bennett, Antonio Gates, Owen Daniels, Jared Cook, and Jordan Cameron. And I want to talk about Jordan Cameron. This rookie looks like the real deal. Like in preseason at least, he's been a stud. He's already catching a lot of balls, already caught some touchdowns. This guy he's tall, he's fast, and he looks like he's going to be already one of Brandon Whedon's favorite targets. Guy is just, he looked good in the preseason so far, and he might actually push higher than that 15 spot.
Yeah, I mean, Whedon's been looking good. I know we talked about him another, but yeah, that Browns offense could be some things there.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good, at least in the preseason.
Yep.
But, those vanilla defenses in the preseason, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. 6'3", 220. Fred Davis, 16. Jermaine Gresham, 17. Jordan Cameron, we just talked about 18. Kellen Winslow, I got to pick a Jet somewhere in there, right? 19. Mercedes Lewis, 20. I'm going to talk about Fred Davis, though. Fred Davis, here's the guy that probably everybody forgot already. He's practicing. He's reportedly looking good in practice. If he comes back with RG3 throwing to Pierre Garçon, who's also coming back off of injury, they were rolling together whenever they first, Fred Davis first was in the scene with RG3, and I think that if he's back healthy, he was a pretty good tight end, solid, certainly worth the pick in the bottom, and I think he should be good this year if he's healthy.
Yeah, for my 16 through 20, I have Zach Miller, Delanie Walker, Brandon Pettigrew, Coby Fleener, and Fred Davis. And Brendan Pettigrew is one of those players, again, breakout players that, they got Calvin Johnson, and we have really tall and fast Brendan Pettigrew. If he can hold on to the ball and stop fumbling, then he could be one of those players. Along with dropping, he drops a lot of balls. So maybe this year's his redemption year. Who knows? But he does get a lot of balls thrown his way. So, and he has potential to be one of those stud tight ends. It's just that he hasn't lived up to that potential just yet.
Yeah, and then, like I said, everybody, this is a top 20 this time, not a 25. Certainly, if you have to go scraping in the bottom of the barrel, there's guys that have value that we left off, like Heath Miller. He is, going to miss the first month or so of the season, but he certainly had a fantasy season last year that was raising or popping eyes, and he certainly serviceable. There's a bunch of people that we didn't say that could be serviceable, especially if you need it for bye weeks. But this is SiggyGuns, same piece with JT Magnum. Don't forget to leave comment section below on who you think we left off that probably should deserve to be up more, or tell us your opinions on what we should do for tight end rankings or whatever.
Peace out, guys.